Hi, everybody. This is Dawn Mitchell, and welcome to Dawn of Sports. We have another great show for you and a powerful female voice that I love to hear right now, especially with how well the Minnesota Lynx are playing. We have Annie Costabile from Front Office Sports. She's a reporter and writer for the WNBA, formerly a WNBA reporter for the Chicago Sun-Times. She covered the Sky, but now she covers the whole league, and we are getting into WNBA talk.
Yes, Annie was an excellent reporter. Glad to see her branching out and then moving on to bigger things. She has been working on a story on the Lynx you'll want to check out. This is Dawn of Sports. We're coming to the Aquarius Home Services Studio. We're presented to you by Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood. Really looking forward to this conversation with Annie.
We have Annie Costabile from Front Office Sports. She's the women's sports reporter and writer. She's formerly of the WNBA ilk, where she was with the Chicago Sun-Times. Annie, thanks for joining us. A lot going on the WNBA. It just kind of blew up the past couple of years, even more so. Of course, we're keeping all eyes on the Lynx. Thanks for joining us. I know you got a story brewing right now, and your life is kind of busy, but it seems like it's like a fun busy for you right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun busy. It's always been a fun busy. I think we can all attest to that in this industry. What's the saying? If you love your job, you don't work a day in your life. And that's definitely been my reality while I was at the Chicago Sun-Times, and now certainly while I'm with Front Office Sports. So it's a good busy.
And I just saw that you're most recently back. You're at Wintrust Arena. I used to work in Chicago, so many people I was seeing on their feeds like, "Oh, she's back, she's here." I mean, you're so loved when you're covering the Sky, and just being in Chicago, and now kind of broadly with the WNBA. How has that transition been for you? That now you're responsible for almost every single story that goes on in the league.
Yeah, it's definitely a new challenge. And I've got to say, like, while I was covering the Sky, it was just truly a joy to develop such a loyal readership. And it was something I had never experienced before. And I'm just always going to be so grateful for all the readers that I was able to connect with here in Chicago. And now on a national scale, the challenge is just, again, like staying on top of everything versus just focusing on your beat. And it's a new challenge for me, but it's one that I've thoroughly enjoyed so far. It's exciting to be able to kind of stay in the loop on all things rather than just the breaking news on a specific team. And so I'm definitely trying to bring my insider expertise to this role and breaking those national stories.
Well, and I got to see you out at the Lynx recently. To me, it's one of the great stories in sports, and the challenge is how do you tell it in a different way because they've been so good for so long now.
Right.
But it's remarkable what they're doing. I was at their game last night. Great crowd. Collier comes back. We're talking here on Monday morning. Collier was fantastic. I don't know. So we talk about the Lynx a lot. I would like your view of what you're seeing from the Lynx and, your reaction to it. And is it as unique a situation as I think it is?
Yeah. You know what? Ever since I started covering the league, which was when I graduated college I was on a freelance in a freelance situation back then. But again, like from the moment I started covering the league, you just knew the Lynx were good. And it hasn't been a blip. It's been this sustained success that is unmatched, right? I mean, you talk about the dynasty era, and now they're in this new iteration. And of course, they haven't won a title since that dynasty era, but they've only missed the playoffs once. And so I think the sustained success from the Lynx, but not just like on the court, off the court as well. Just, as a franchise, as a business, I think that's what's extremely impressive. And again, it's not an opinion that it's unique. It's actual fact, because when you look at other teams, no other team has sustained success like the Lynx have. And so I definitely don't think you're alone in finding, what the Lynx have done extremely unique, because again, it's factually correct that it is.
What I also enjoy hearing from a lot of the women players when they first get a chance to come to Minnesota, whether they're visiting or whether they're traded here or whatnot, they're just blown away by, they call it the buy-in, but like with the owners and treating them like they do the Timberwolves here in terms of the facilities and their practice facilities and what's available to them. And then I talked to some of the women and like, this is not what we have. And I know it's getting better in the WNBA, but you would know more than I do because you go to all the different cities. How does it compare? And are other teams that don't have as much kind of getting up to par? What would you say on that?
Yeah, I mean, the Lynx definitely were a standard setter in terms of their practice facility, and something that I don't know if a ton of people know. I think anybody who's covered the Lynx knows this, but just to put it out there, like their shared facility has always been branded as the Lynx and the Timberwolves. It's not a shared space that the Lynx come into and it's the Timberwolves space and then they come in and get to share it. Like it's always from day one been both. And so that was opened, back in 2015, I believe. And so they were the first to have a space of that caliber again to utilize. And in the years since, which now 10 years since, we've seen many other teams establish that same caliber of again facility and space. But there's still teams that have not. I mean, I'm back in Chicago for the weekend, working on a few things, and the Sky are one of them. They do not have a facility yet. It's in the works, but it's not ready today. The Sparks as well, the Dallas Wings as well, the Atlanta Dream as well. So it's really starting to shape up in an interesting way in terms of the Connecticut Sun as well. The last remaining individually owned teams are the ones that are lagging behind. And of course, the Sparks are not in that individually owned category per se, but they're still behind as well. So yeah, there's still a number of teams that are lagging. And as we see this influx of investment, it's not going to hold up. And even when you think about the CBA, standards of operation are something that, players are pursuant to. And so it's definitely going to be a requirement. I think that I would assume it's going to be a requirement, whether it's negotiated for or not, because in order to win, in order to attract free agents, you're going to have to be able to compete with the teams that have these facilities in place. So that's why we're seeing it change across the board.
And also, they have Cheryl Reeve. The success of the Lynx cannot be separated from the name Cheryl Reeve at all. And Cheryl says, hey, sometimes, when I got Maya Moore and stuff like that, some good things fall to me. Well, now Napheesa Collier, a different kind of leader. She's outspoken in a soft way. It's just so hard to say, with her forming Unrivaled to being the defensive player of the year last year to like leading the pack, so to speak, for the Lynx this year. I mean, just the press release, it said, I'm back with a crown next to it. And then her number, a different kind of leader. But when you put Napheesa Collier with Cheryl Reeve together, what is that specialty in your mind like?
Well, I got to shout out Michael Jordan for the original I'm back comment. And so I love that Napheesa did it as well. She's a Jordan athlete. So I wonder if
she stole and put a crown next to it.
Yeah,
okay.
There's some synergy there between the Jordan brand and obviously that iconic I'm back, just 2 words. But I think what's really remarkable about Napheesa is her growth and development and just the work that's gone into her becoming an MVP caliber player. a face of the WNBA caliber player. And something that's always stands out to me when I talk to players who come from the Cheryl Reeve tree is just the expectations that exist within the Lynx franchise. And not every player is cut out for that. And so one thing I really find interesting about Nafisa's, the way she carries herself, her character, is again, that quiet, commanding energy, and how it is in sync with then, the lofty expectations of Cheryl's, and how, Cheryl is demanding of her players. And it's not necessarily that they're opposites, and I don't know either of them too personally. But on the outside, again, you have this like very strong presence in Cheryl, and she's loud and she gets on people and she says and does all the things. And then you have the franchise player who is a leader by example. And when she speaks, you listen, because again, she doesn't yell and she's not that type of person. So I think the synergy between them, and because of the opposite qualities they have, is something that I find really intriguing.
We do want to thank longtime sponsor of the program and the network, Minnesota Masonic Charities.
Today, I want to talk a little bit about the Minnesota Masonic Charities. When you think about the Masons, I get it. You think about the funny hats, those pancake breakfasts, which are phenomenal. My dear friend John Schweitz and I have chatted about this, and it's so much more than that. They've got the Masonic home over in Bloomington. They've got the hospital for the children over at the U of M. They are the largest fraternal organization in terms of charitable needs in our country, and they deserve a ton of recognition. So thank you, Minnesota Masonic Charities, for all you do and for supporting us over here at Talk North, and a special thanks to my good friend, John Schweitz.
Thanks also to Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood. All right, Don, take it away.
Yeah, for sure. But Cheryl said she's even chilled out a little bit, that Courtney Williams just makes her laugh. And she said, I just let her be Court. I'm not offended by her. I just let it. So that shows, after years and years of coaching, that Cheryl can kind of, maybe chill out a little bit, not all the time, but I enjoy seeing that side of her.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that again, Cheryl's players, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but again, from conversations I've had, is they appreciate and love about her. Is like, she definitely allows them to be themselves. But when it comes time to show up, if you are not showing up, she will, without question, demand that you do. It's all fun and games until it starts impacting the product, right? And so the thing about that people need to understand about Courtney Williams is, like, she looks like a good time, and like she has a good time, and she does, but she's also about her business and about being excellent on the court. And if she wasn't, Cheryl would not be, again, opinion here, but Cheryl would not be like down having all this, the streams and if Courtney wasn't upholding her end and Natisha weren't upholding their end on the court as well. And that's, again, another I guess signal of what's unique about the Lynx and great about the Lynx is go out and have fun. We're going to, but we're also going to be about success here. And it's not, one is not distracting from the other.
Exactly. And I think what really emblazoned in my mind that, yes, the team likes to have fun. They like to joke around. They have the expectations of Cheryl. But when Kayla McBride came back, so she took some time off, and Kayla said, I am back because of basically my sisters, like they supported me. And there was no, like, she wasn't at practice. She hadn't played how many games, and she started, they were embracing her, and you could tell it wasn't fake. So in a tough competitive league like the WNBA, and we see it on other teams where that probably wouldn't fly, I find a uniqueness to this year's iteration of the Lynx in terms of off the court and their and I don't want to say bonding because I'm not one of the teammates and I don't know the day to day, but just from what they share with us, there is this closeness that can really bring a team together. And we see it in success on the court and how they're already clinched their spot in the playoffs, 30-7. I mean, I think it's all coming together in a nice little package this year.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you lose the way that they did last year, and then you combine it with like the history of the franchise. This isn't the first time that this franchise has lost in the finals on a questionable call, right?
Right.
And then you combine it again with the talent that's come back. And again, you mentioned Kayla McBride. It's coming together because of the talent that's on the court, but also because of the mentality off of it. Yeah. And the connectedness off of it. And I think what kind of goes untold a lot, because it's not always the easiest thing to capture, is what has to happen within a locker room to win a title. And so there are for sure teams that maybe didn't have the most synergy who won titles. For sure, that happens in sports all the time. But there are certain moments when you see a team win a title that's very in sync and very connected. And that's what stands out to me about this Lynx team is the connectedness and the everybody understanding their role, and that leading to this like fluid, beautiful product on the court.
You can find Annie's work at frontofficesports.com. A couple more minutes with Annie. We'll let her go. I know she's busy. So Cheryl Reeve has the dynasty with all the great players, 4 Hall of Famers, should be a 5th with Brunson. Brunson should be in as well. This team has 1 future Hall of Famer, and yet they're winning at basically the same rate. What does this do for Cheryl Reeve's, well, I hate the word legacy, but I can't think of another word, legacy?
To potentially win another title, what would it do? I mean, I don't know that it needs to be solidified any further. 4 is already, tied for the most in the WNBA. So it's historic, but again, it would just cement it. I was like, what's a stronger word than solidify? Cement.
Cement's good.
Her as one of the greatest coaches in WNBA history. And you could then argue the greatest, because with 5 titles, you have the most titles in WNBA history. So I think, it would just cement her legacy, and not only hers, but the franchise's status as the gold standard in the WNBA.
And how about her legacy as well as being able to stand up for social issues? I know the WNBA, the players after the All-Star game, they want equal pay. I think I saw another T-shirt that's going around, women's sports is big business. I think Cheryl has just really empowered the league to speak its mind. I'm not saying she's the only one, but she set the course pretty early on.
Yeah. Okay. Women's sports is big business. Just got to touch on this for a second. Front office sports. That's the slogan over here. And,
yes.
and insert whatever you want is big business. That's front office sports for you. And so I love seeing the women's sports is big business shirts and slogans going around, because it's just true. But when it comes to, Cheryl and her standing up for human rights issues and speaking on human rights issues, that's been the standard since she became a professional. I've heard stories just about, again, like her as a human from former players and colleagues, and that's her character, is to stand up for things that she believes in and that she's passionate about, and to empower her players to do the same. And I think what's really, significant about that, especially today, is that people think when you're in a forward-facing role, or you're someone with power, right? As Cheryl is, or as any coach in any league really is, that it's maybe easy to do so because, again, you have some form of power, right? But in fact, what I've seen and what I've learned in my 34 years on this earth is that the more power a person gets, some people do the opposite. They get quieter and, they maybe say less. And so I think when you see someone like Cheryl, again, not backing down on issues that matter, it not only emboldens her players to do the same, but everyone in that orbit to, again, like speak up and stand up for what's right. And so I think that's just the standard, the same way, she's known for building a culture of winning and a highly demanding culture. Being vocal on human rights issues is another character or another quality that's known to exist within the Lynx franchise.
Well, Annie Costabile, thank you for your powerful voice. Yes, in the WNBA, other women's sports, you are just a shining light in front office sports. And yes, I got to get myself that t-shirt. Women's sports is big business.
I'm happy to send you one. I'll get some sent over to Minnesota because I just love that shirt.
I do. I love it. And so I didn't even know. I was like, oh, that one I've got to get. So we appreciate you. Thank you for all of your great stories. And if you want to be followed on social media and where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. X is just ridiculous.
I won't say X.
Yes, they renamed it. But I'm on Twitter at Annie Costabile. And then you could find me on Instagram and TikTok with the same name. So just my name, Annie Costabile, and wherever you like to, be social, I'm there. And I will say, like, Instagram and TikTok are a little less serious for me. I'm posting like my little outfit videos and my friends and family. Twitter's where I get really like in the nitty gritty of things.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I know it's going to get crazy in the next couple weeks and months here for WNBA. And so everybody just check out what Annie has to say. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.